Dang.
There was no day. Oh, there it is. That was very slow. Okay. Hello, Internet, and welcome to the second episode of the Edge of Reality podcast. So last time we saw the first movie on the Video Nasties list. We saw Absurd. I got my name's Chris, by the way. Hi, how you doing? I forgot we should probably introduce ourselves.
Rob.
Jakob.
Jakob. Ali, what did you think of Absurd?
It was shit.
I'm sorry to tell you, pal, but that's probably going to be the pattern of a lot of movies that we're going to watch.
Hilarious, but shit.
Yeah, that's probably going to be what a lot of movies that we're going to watch are. Sorry to dump that bit of news on you. We're like
everything's gonna be fine.
We're like MST3K, the podcast, essentially, is what we are.
Yeah, except I'm not funny.
You are funny. Don't you?
You were good.
You were very good, sir. Rob, what did you think of Absurd?
It was simply absurd. But yeah, that last line of the movie is what made it for me.
Well, she just fucking you have nothing to be afraid of.
That was like a 2-hour build-up to a punchline.
Nothing to be afraid of. Hold up, seven head. So, one thing I was just actually curious of, because you're not into movies that much, are you, Ali?
No, not really.
Any particular reason for that? Was that just not your thing, or?
Well, as like a novelist, a video gamer, and a fan of like TV serials, I don't think movies have enough time to actually like establish in detail various events. So the entire thing just seems like it's rushing a bit because it has to get through the fact that it's a movie.
That's
The only times that doesn't happen is when like it's a multi-part movie, but even then they have to cut down things for time.
Yeah. I'd like to tell you that this podcast is going to change your opinion of movies, but I'd be lying to you. So,
Actually, I think Night of the Living Dead is on there.
It might be, yeah.
So that might actually change your opinion.
We got The Evil Dead on there. That's a good movie. We got The Last House on the Left. Even though that's disturbing, it's a good movie.
It features David Hess, probably my favorite exploitation movie actor.
Why are they called exploitation movies? What are they?
Because
Go ahead, Rob.
Because they exploit different. Because it's basically a kind way to call them trashy movies, really.
It's a very, very kind way to call them trashy, Z-grade schlock. Essentially, exploitation movies. For example, an exploitation, so if it's a movie that is totally focused on Nazi Germany, it's got a bunch of violence, a bunch of gore, and a bunch of sex in it. It's probably straight to VHS kind of movie. That's called a Nazi exploitation movie. That's what everyone calls it.
Is there a black exploitation movie on this list?
On the list, I don't think so.
On the Nasties list, no. But we could watch ourselves some black exploitation. I was thinking of showing you some Black Dynamite,
Black Dynamite.
And I was also thinking at some point to show you some kung fu movies, because I remembered you said you liked yourself some kung fu.
I like kung fu movies.
I
do want to watch Legend of the Drunken Master or something on here.
I would love to, 5 Deadly Venoms or something like that.
5 Deadly Venoms, yeah. Well, I'm not saying that that's not going to happen. It's just that this particular episode, I guess you could say kung fu. It comes from Asia. So I guess what we're watching sort of has that going for it.
Yeah, this is essentially a kung fu movie.
It's essentially a kung fu movie, in that it's not a kung fu movie whatsoever, and it probably isn't starring any Asians.
The Drunken Master, starring Bela Lugosi.
Oh, probably the people at home have no idea, so I'm going to explain this. We decided, for the better cases of our sanity, for the sake of our sanity, what we're going to do between each video nasty is we'll have what we like to call a palate cleanser. something that's, it might be a horror, it might be a comedy. I don't know what the genre would be, but it's something that isn't particularly gruesome or disturbing or disgusting. And, like, absurd was like the fucking easy starter for what's going to be a very, very long meal. And we decided, for the sake of our sanity and so that we don't get bored by constant violence, sex, and blood and all that jazz, it might be best to have these palate cleansers to keep ourselves in, good moods, comedic moods, and all that jazz. Something to make the 72 movies that we're going to be trying to plow through.
Especially when we get to some more gruesome and horrifying entries on the list, this will really help us.
This will really help our sanity, and this will really help us personally. And, I don't want Ali to think that I want him to suffer. This man has hardly seen movies. I don't want him to think that I'm here to torture him. That's not what this is about. But the movie we're going to watch today, so it's a palate cleanser, the palate cleanser, as you will, that we're going to watch today. It's from 1938. It stars the famous Boris Karloff, fucking Frankenstein himself.
It stars Boris Karloff?
It stars Boris Karloff, Frankenstein. Okay. Boris Karloff, yeah. You thought it was Bela Lugosi?
I made the wrong joke then.
You did. It stars Boris Karloff. I thought you were just making that joke because this starred Boris Karloff and you were going with the Dracula route. Okay. No, It's the first in a series of 6 fucking movies, guys. There's 6, like, they know the name of this. There's 6 of these. In what I can only imagine was the answer to the Charlie fucking Chan movies. Because, the Charlie Chan movies, they're infamously racist. They decided, let's get Hungarian horror actor Boris Karloff and make him Asian in Mr. Wong, Detective. I have no idea. I've never seen this movie. I've never even heard of this movie. I was just looking.
How did they get 6 movies? Was it all Boris Karloff?
At least 5 of them are Boris. I think they went with a new actor in the last one, but at least 5 of them are Boris Karloff.
I'm going to be severely disappointed if this movie is boring.
If this movie's boring, I'm going to be the most disappointed man in the world. Because I was just looking up B movies, I was like, okay, we need a palate cleanser, fine, I'll see what B movies I can find, what ones I know. And I was like, well, I don't want to go the Ed Wood route immediately, because that's just fucking easy targets, and I want to, I want like a special thing where I introduce Ed Wood.
And we also talked about maybe showing a good movie here, like
maybe showing a good movie, but then I realized that would be a bunch of bullshit. So,
well, when we thought about a good movie that could be easy to riff, like Legend of Boggy Creek was brought up.
Yeah, Legend of Boggy Creek, that's a possibility, and like other things, like just so people sort of know the rules of this podcast a little bit better. Like, me, as long as it's, you're not gonna fucking see Star Wars on here, guys, just so you're aware. You probably won't
see Brazilian Star Wars.
I've never seen Star Wars.
Oh, I might show you Star Wars just on a separate, for a special episode then. Maybe on the 100th episode, Ali, just for you, I'll show you some Star Wars.
Those are some high expectations.
Yeah, I expect us to get to 100 episodes. Just
let's get to 5 first.
Let's get to 5 first.
Well, to be fair, you've listed the video nasties, so you expect us to get up to episode 72.
I realize how difficult it might be to find some of these, but I'd like us to think we'll eventually watch all 72 at some point, just so we sort of establish the rules a little better. If it's a cult movie, for example, let's say it's a movie that didn't do too well when it was released, but may be quite popular now. For example, The Warriors from 1979 was never really a big mainstream movie. It had a big cult following pretty much since the day it was released, but it's never been considered fucking, that's a piece of cinematic it's a fucking cinematic masterpiece.
I thought it was really good.
The Warriors, it's a fucking amazing film. But it's not really, I don't know why, it's just never reached that sort of mainstream fucking, Star Wars, when people are like, let's mention a classic movie, people are like, Star Wars, Aliens, Terminator, Back to the Future, all these, it takes a while before someone's like, The Warriors.
Well, I mean,
Um,
in the same breath, I've never heard anyone mention Shaft in that, but Shaft is a really good movie.
Shaft's a really good movie. You know, I wouldn't mind doing Shaft. That's a cult movie, so what people like to call cult movies. John Carpenter's The Thing I wouldn't really want us to do because it's extremely popular now, but that's a film, you know, again, I can see that's got the cult status going for it, so maybe one day.
It's- I really wouldn't want to do it because I just really love that movie so much.
And I really love that movie.
And it's genuinely creepy, and I wouldn't want to throw, like, I don't know how I would make that comedic.
You know, the rule here I'd like us to sort of follow the, you know, B movies, cult movies, schlocky shit, you know. We are, as I said, MST3K, the podcast. Will we probably cover a good movie at some point? Yeah. Sometimes it may be by accident, sometimes it may be by design. For all I know.
If we do a John Carpenter movie, I would be up for, like, The Fog or They Live.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, fucking hell, yeah, They Live. That fucking 20-minute long brawl scene.
Which I've never actually seen. So.
Oh my god, yes, okay, our next palate cleanser is going to be They Live, for sure.
Really?
Oh my god,
Okay.
yes. Fuck yeah. But this palate cleanser, I have no idea what this is going to be like. I don't know if we've stumbled onto a piece of cinematic garbage. That's the most likely situation, I'm not going to lie. Because, you know, when you think Boris Karloff, you don't think Mr. Wong.
Somehow they commissioned 6 of these, so...
How they fucking commissioned 6 of these? It must be good.
Maybe they filmed, like, 3 of them at the same time, like,
I
just
don't-
right after the other.
Maybe. I have no idea.
You're gonna have 6 Mr. Wong movies. What?
We don't have a trailer to watch, unfortunately, so... Rob, what's your expectations for this movie?
I expect that at some point he'll be eating Chinese food and say something incredibly racist. Maybe?
Are we gonna get Oh Hello? Are we gonna get that?
Is this gonna be like the scene in Breakfast at Tiffany's?
Is this seriously Teddy Wong the movie?
Tag team match player?
Where? Ali, what are you expecting from Mr. Wong, Detective?
I'm expecting a lot of talking and standing there.
It is an old black and white movie. That's sort of what. It's a detective movie. That's probably what's gonna happen. I don't expect this to be an action thriller. That's for sure. There was no trailer for this movie. All fucking 6 movies are on YouTube. Trust me, they're all there, but no trailers.
Is this a public domain movie?
I have no idea. I'm guessing it is. I'm gonna have to look that up if it's in public domain. 1938. I wonder if that's got the timing to be in the public domain.
It sounds. I mean, if they didn't renew their license, it's public domain.
Probably in the public domain. Yeah, that's definitely one thing I'm gonna want to look up.
What producer says, "Yeah, I really want to keep Mr. Wong"?
Mr. Wong, detective.
According to this, I think it is public domain.
I can really make a lot of money off of Mr. Wong, starring Boris Karloff.
Apparently, so I've found a little bit more backstory on Mr. Wong. He was created but in 1884 by a guy named Hugh Wiley, and it lasted all the way till or was that the date that, maybe that was when Hugh Wiley was born, that would make a bit more sense. Okay, that was when Hugh Wiley was born, okay. Got it, never mind, ignore that. Mr. Wong, he was a detective, and apparently these were magazine stories that were created about a detective named James Lee Wong. And they decided to base the 6 movies off these magazine stories. So this was essentially fucking Pulp Fiction, essentially.
But they just decided to cast it as Boris Karloff.
Yeah, I just found out, yeah, Boris Karloff was in 5 of the 6 movies. The last one starred a guy named Keyluke, Keyelluke, as Mr. Wong.
I wonder if he's more Asian than Boris Karloff.
Maybe. The 6 movies, just so we know, because we may decide to go back to Mr. Wong at some point. We may decide to do that. The first one, obviously, this is the one that we're watching, Mr. Wong Detective. The second one, The Mystery of Mr. Wong.
Yeah,
Third
that was
one.
public domain.
That's all public domain as well. Okay. This one, the third one, Mr. Wong in Chinatown. You have The Fatal Hour, also known as Mr. Wong at Headquarters. I can see why they decided to go with The Fatal Hour. And then you have Doomed to Die. And then you have Phantom of Chinatown. So without further ado, because we don't have a trailer... I'm seriously annoyed by that. We don't have a trailer to watch. We're going in completely blind. I'm annoyed. I'm a little worried. Because we don't have a trailer to go in, we're literally, we're going straight into it, folks. So, for those that, may want to join along with us in our commentary, which you will find in a separate video, this will be starting up, and it's pretty much join in the moment you see the production logo for the cinematic, for the cinema company that released it. You can find this on YouTube. That's the version that we're watching, so you can join in that way. And if it is indeed in public domain, this one, then I'll probably put it along with the commentary anyway, so don't worry about that one. So, yeah, without further ado, Rob, Ali, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
About as ready as I can be.
As ready as we can be. Let's do it. Mr. Wong, Detective. Welcome to the Gong Show!
Get me the most Asian fun you can find.
Get me the greatest fortune cookie maker in the world and make them design my credits.
William,
William Nye, the science guy. Will. Ah, all the Mexicans are coming in to work.
Oh.
wow, we're setting the bar high.
And you call me racist?
Yeah, see?
No, that's a different black and white movie.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I hope this is the worst hide-and-seek game I've ever been to.
Please, put me in this box and ship me off.
My God, they're carrying cocaine in those boxes.
That ship has got to be stopped.
Maybe
So
an
I'm
iceberg.
going to... Damn it, Riddler, you stole my joke.
Oh God, no, he's gonna give some exposition.
Wow, that was... Wow.
We needed that. Al Capone and his gangsters go out for a night.
At that time. How much farther is it? Be there in a minute.
Skipper? What?
It's George the Animal Steel. We suddenly went onto the set of The Exorcist. Oh, Boris! You...
I beg you to forgive my feathered friend. He did not
I'm Asian.
his own voice, but like so many humans, the words don't seem to matter. If you will forgive my humble surroundings.
Boris,
Don't you think Chinese? I am so very Chinese.
Boris, we need you to do your best Asian accent. Okay, I'm gonna sound like Vincent Price.
The request from a friend is virtually a command. If you'll state your case, well, I haven't.
While I eat these fortune
That
cookies.
somebody's out to get me, that's all.
Because that's what Chinamen do.
Anyone, everyone, every place I go, I tell you it's driving me crazy. How long?
Crazy, I tell you. I couldn't find out why a Hungarian was Chinese.
Just starts blowing smoke in his face.
Apprehension. For a couple of months. You see,
You want some hookah?
Two partners and myself arranged to ship a load of chemicals abroad. From that time on, we've had a lot of trouble.
Meh.
Just what sort of trouble? Factory deliveries held up. Railroad shipments damaged.
Icebergs in front of our boats.
I'm sorry, I'm too busy thinking about my paycheck.
My office has been entered and rifled several times lately. Ah. Anything taken? Desk, file search, but nothing taken. Is there anything else you can tell me?
Like how much heroin I'll be getting from this.
And why there's a penis statue in the background.
The letter of introduction.
Oh my god, that is a penis statue!
Pinky.
That wasn't John, I saw his face.
But now he has my car.
Ah, he's gone to pick up Edmund Perdam.
John, this is my chauffeur. John, easy. John, what happened? What happened?
Oh,
So drunk.
What?
my god. Okay, don't establish
really-
that movie.
It's really easy to make a movie when you just end scenes wherever you want.
No, they just have to stare at the camera for a couple of seconds. They'll just fade out.
Morning.
Oh, Money Penny, don't ask me about my day. Honey, I'm home. Oh wait, I'm alone.
Just kidding, I'm divorced.
Anything wrong, Jason? Nothing wrong with me. What's on your mind?
Simon,
Welcome to the Old Man Society.
our partnership agreement. It's quite important.
Yes? What is it?
There's nothing that covers the situation which will arise if one of us dies.
That's out of nowhere.
Meh, meh,
In
meh.
order to simplify things, I've drawn up an additional clause to our agreement. I'll read it to you. In the event of the demise of any of the three principals to this agreement, it is understood and agreed that his interest shall revert in its entirety to the surviving principals and...
That makes me totally not suspicious in any way.
that
This is how the Warner Brothers made sure all their cartoons were made. Now you get to work on that Bugs Bunny, you hear? Receptionist, can you organize my suicide for 2 o'clock?
Tomorrow, I'll get him to.
He'll see me today.
I'm gonna kill him, and whether he likes it or not.
Baldness snaps into action.
What do you want? I want my formula. Throw him out! Ryan, Russell, throw him out of here! Throw him out! You promised to pay me for my formula. You promised to make me a partner. You've got a shipload of it going out tomorrow.
We've got a what load?
Push me out of this deal.
So all of this is an argument over Kool-Aid?
Rebel.
Devlin. Yeah? There's the guy with a gun at the Dayton Chemical Works.
This is the 1930s. Everybody has a gun.
I don't care.
Is there a guy up there with a gun? Your boss just phoned.
Why, yes, there is, Sam, but I don't think you need to.
I'll be right up.
Da, 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 da. Yeah, we're here, I guess.
Gun. Up on your feet.
Damn it, and I was just about to make Thriller.
Where's your boss?
I'll let him know you're
He's
here.
in space, sir.
Phone calls, the movie.
He doesn't answer.
Well, I was standing at the window when we drove up.
Mr. Dayton? Mr. Dayton?
Your regularly scheduled death has arrived.
Lock, Sam.
Ah, they're gonna find him just like David Carradine.
Was not shot.
Elementary, dear Watson.
Examine the body? No. But I examined the gun. I'm afraid it hasn't been found.
I licked it a couple of times.
Someone
too.
turn the air conditioning off.
Oh, my tea is boiling.
Try to reproduce the size and the thickness as closely as possible.
That's what she said.
Oh, that is what she said, apparently.
Now to make a bong.
Where's the capital of Minnesota?
St. Paul. Scratch your neck.
Stay out.
What color is blue?
Count from 12 to 25. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
Now name all presidents.
Associate with the word hiccup.
Spasm of the diaphragm.
Huh. Yep. Just what I thought.
Mr.
Terrible
Wong's
actor.
That's it.
So far this movie's been phone calls and people handing each other paper.
What's that?
Hey, look at this.
It's a murder incident. Now look,
Is
Wong,
this
you're not
evidence?
gonna
No,
tell
it's a
me you
picture of
put
my daughter.
pieces of glass and put them together.
Isn't she cute?
You flatter. Miss Ross. Russell, inside.
Orgy? Orgy.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Wong.
Sit down. Please.
Maybe spread your legs while you do it.
I want you to dismiss everything else from your mind and concentrate on what happened this morning.
Who do you think you're talking to?
Don't you know who I am?
This is business. Please. Romer broke in Dayton's office.
Yeah, they're playing magical
Did he have
chess.
anything else in his hand beside that gun?
Not that I know of.
But you're not sure.
You're not sure!
The gun?
Now the other hand.
The left hand.
Naturally, if the gun was in the right hand, the other
If I'm
hand...
loud, I'm right.
Naturally. No!
Did you see him drop anything on the floor?
Did you hug him?
I'm quite sure.
Did you give him a little kiss? Did you give...
Did you lick his head?
Did you see Romer stoop over and roll?
And take off his pants.
Did he pretend he was a doggy?
Yeah, isn't that curious?
That's a replica of the glass globe that might have contained the gas that killed Dayton. Now there's no gas.
Do you want another try at that line there, buddy?
Maybe you can answer my questions intelligently. What hand did you have a hold of?
You don't want to know.
Left hand. Did he have anything in the left hand?
No.
You're sure he didn't have anything in the left hand?
No. Yes.
Yes, no, maybe, I don't know.
I mean,
Did he
please,
have any
Did he
antacids?
always open the top drawer of his
Did he
desk,
like his
take out
hookers?
his back book and examine the balance at 9:30 sharp every morning? What's that got to do with it?
Please, Sam, Mr. Wong is trying to ask me a question. Mr. Dayton didn't keep his bank book in his desk at the
Fucking
office.
games.
I know, Miss Frost, but did he take bicarbonate of soda or change his coat or anything at all at any set given time? What are you driving at?
Oh, I'm asking if he was a pussy.
Mr. Wong, I think I know what you're
So far, this man's police work style is to just yell at people.
Brr, 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 brr.
He's a shining example for what today's police force is going to turn out to be.
Think it could have been planted
Shoot
in-
first, ask questions later.
Obviously, the murder was timed to occur, but Mr. Dayton was alone in his home.
Shoot first, yell, stomp repeatedly, then ask questions.
You can get out now, lady. I'm not aroused. Hello, hello!
Oh, we have half of a barbershop quartet here.
Yes. Wilkes? Wilk. You were Dayton's partners, weren't you? Yes.
Yes, we were.
What were you doing in his office this morning at 9:30?
You don't want to know.
Oh, we were killing him. I mean,
Meeting between the three of us.
What kind of business?
Well,
We were
had
making
a writer to an agreement.
pastries.
We needed the signatures of all
Yes,
three.
pastries.
Is this it?
no, this is the script. You've created too many funny cartoons. God, I love the Warner Brothers.
A lot of information we got out of them. Devlin.
Yeah, Chief.
Any more of them out there?
Yeah, woman.
Who is she?
Wait, so the first one you interviewed wasn't a woman? Now I'm intrigued.
It's a formula that worries me.
That Big Mac's gonna get out sooner or later.
Possible he's in jail.
Between the three of us, we have enough hair grease to fuel all of New Jersey.
I'm having cocktails with him tomorrow.
Mercy!
Olga, you can be very clever when you're not careless. And you watch the boat. And remember, be careful.
Watch the boat, don't watch the boat, baby. Watch the boat.
But if you want
The man who stole Dayton's car obviously picked up a companion. I don't think Dayton smoked this type of cigarette.
You mean there's something in the tobacco?
The Kachina bar.
Well, we're not gonna find that out for another 50 years, but yeah, there's something in the tobacco.
First you give me a Russian. Now we got a hitchhike in South America. A nice menagerie you're getting. Where do we go from here?
We get Batman.
To Carl Romer's house.
All right, Devlin, pack it out. Tommy, bring that car over. Right. What about your international duet?
What?
You're still holding Carl Romer, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, then we must eliminate him before we can proceed.
What was
What do
that?
you expect to find at Romer's?
I don't know, Street, but it won't hurt to look.
Where was your husband born?
He was born here in San Francisco.
What are any of these questions going to lead us to assume?
Are you going with us?
If one train is traveling 55 miles per hour from Los Angeles, and the other is traveling 45 miles an hour from Sacramento, what time do they meet? You could have had him
he's
playing
being a
black
snake
guy if you
charmer.
wanted.
So you know there's no snake in there, right? I think
This
he's
is
trying
the
to play
worst
the American
recorders
national
recital
anthem.
I've ever been to.
Oh my God, he's playing the theme music to Bloodwaters of Dr. C.
Her name was Rio. She was.
Boris Karloff didn't know they were actually filming him.
Terrible acting! Terrible acting! Ah!
Music sucks. Huh?
Oh, Pizza.
I'm sorry, sir. Could you be a little bit more racist?
Want to help in every way possible?
Nah, nah, nah.
Sometimes we witness things without being aware of their importance. Are you implying that my eyesight is failing? You misinterpret.
I'm implying you should have gone to Specsavers.
With pleasure. And may I add, looking even more charming than when I saw you last.
I regret not recalling.
I love women draped in garbs of dead animal.
So faint an impression.
I killed a coyote with my bare hands.
The Argentine-
I'd ask if that was a dead cat on your face, but I know the answer would be yes.
How stupid of me. But there were so many other celebrities there. Mr. Wong, Baron von Crunch.
Ah, Pee Wee Herman, how's it going?
Seem to be just in time.
Ah, the orgy.
Mr.
Oh
Wong.
yes, the men in suits party. I brought my own suit.
My partner, Mr. Meyer.
Hey, that's my
How do
suit.
you do?
Oh, we must have bought it from the same shop.
Delivery for one script? No, you're not looking suspicious one bit, sir. These lines, they're terrible. I gotta get out of here. He's calling his
I
agent.
used the phone a lot in
Are
1938.
you naked?
I'll be right out. Hey, Tommy, 3800 block on Webster. Make it snap. Right.
We gotta ask him some basic math questions.
Today's word is murder.
No one at this party is suspicious at all, what with their not talking and just pacing around the room.
I think that Pee Wee Herman guy was about to go jack off in a theater.
What kind of men in suit
Oh,
party
who
is
put this track on? This is my jam.
Oh no, Scott Steiner's
I'm
arriving.
about to get down.
We're the local men that ruin everything.
Can you knock any
Plot
louder?
device.
Where's Will? In the library, sir. Charlestown.
You rang?
See if you can find a letter.
No, just the script.
Nothing on
And the words, "Why did I do this?" written all over it.
Ooh, the milkman arrives.
Watch.
Got your milk. Oh, he's dead. Well, I'll just leave the milk here.
Any marks on him?
I don't know. I'm a milkman.
It's your own handwriting.
No, I don't deny that. It is my handwriting.
Why'd you write it?
I can't tell you.
How'd you get the letter out of the jail?
Can't tell you that.
I shoved it up my ass.
If you take my advice, Carl, you'll tell the captain everything you know.
I can't.
We're both Vincent Price, and you know it.
Material witness? Yes, you can.
This movie has more phone calls than Dial M for murder.
Look, Devlin. Release all of them. Yeah, let them go. But make them go straight home.
And make him strip
Yeah, I
first.
can get a hold of him if I want him.
Make him dance so
I don't care what he
sexy.
says. He's a suspect and a material witness.
This isn't my office.
Oh, I'm so embarrassed. You know, egg on my face and everything. The mystery of the guy who clearly murdered someone.
What do you, the people at home, think?
Time to steal his shit.
I'm waiting all day to do this.
Ooh, a watch? Ooh,
Maybe I'll take a
wallet.
shit in this chair.
A wallet with $50.
Did people find this exciting in the 1930s?
Mr. Wong! Drama and action at its highest!
It's usually like a car chase scene by now. Or some kind of shootout. I was hiding! I was hiding!
Today's word is curtain!
I feel like we're not progressing toward anything.
Where have you been?
The police held me.
Held you for what?
And
Being
don't tell me
fine.
Wilk was killed.
Will killed?
Come on, how did you do it?
I didn't.
Hold on while I look at the camera.
Oh, and
What do you, the people at home, think?
You'll have to tell us what you know eventually. Your turn.
Day 50 of being in this
You
chair.
know who killed Dayton and Will?
Day 5 in the Big Brother house. Vincent Price is under pressure.
By not talking, but you're not. Many a man has swung for knowing less than you do.
My wife. She's safe with her sisters. You're not lying to me.
No, we're not lying. She's at your sister's.
You want the name of the murderer.
Yes, Carl, yes.
Pee Wee
Be
Herman.
very careful. Take no chances.
I
Cunning and desperate
can't do
man.
the laugh.
I can't do the laugh either, don't worry about it.
We'll take every precaution, but who's...
I mean, there was one time he jumped on a bar and
We'll not
he started dancing to Champ's Tequila.
Can I
'Cause
stare at you any harder than this?
I heard him talking to someone, and he said,
Oh, oh, oh.
just 56 hours after Dayton.
I will not
I
blink.
didn't think anything of it at the time. But after Mr. Dayton was killed, I got thinking. And of
I
course,
did the one thing that nobody else has done in this movie.
that's why I sent the warning letter to Mr. Wilk.
Mice.
Measle, 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 boo.
Get the boys. 2 cars, tear gas, the whole works. Right.
Fucking hell, man!
Carl, get him anything he wants from the kitchen. Send in...
He finds out who the killer is and he's planning a siege already. He is the perfect police officer.
Follow me.
God bless America.
All right, Harry, take the back.
Should we knock first? And Frank!
Cap, somebody out cold in there.
Break in.
I can't tell who is who in the scene. This is why you use lighting, folks.
Those pesky kids breaking windows again?
You didn't need that.
I always go through the window. What about it?
You're telling me.
Look, it may not seem of any importance to you, but I've just solved the murder case.
Oh yeah, you solved it, not the Asian man.
Heisel?
Yeah, I knew
I
Romer
just
was
solved a
innocent all the
moida.
time, only I had to get a few facts out of him. I can't tell you everything.
You're wonderful. Are you going to release Roma now? Sweet.
There's,
Kisses!
well, there's a few questions we've got to ask him.
Hugs and kisses.
Not me. Wong's gonna question.
We're going to Wong? Oh.
Is Wong's a restaurant?
I can't see a damn thing in there, the lighting is terrible. Okie dokie, Dr. Wong, here with the water.
Oh.
That Asian man's had about 5 minutes of screen time at best.
A beautiful woman. And I must say that Miss Petrov played her part to perfection.
Cut the cuff.
But in spite of all your efforts, you still appear to be without the formula.
Because you've got it. I'll give you exactly 4 minutes to hand it over.
But if I assure you that I haven't the formula...
You've wasted a half a minute already.
Wow, that was a
never
quick
watched.
fucking 30 seconds.
You drive a very hard bargain, Mr. Moore.
Fine. I'll give you the recipe for the 11 secret herbs and spices. The Colonel will be upset, though. I was gonna sell it for millions.
I know how anxious you must be to get home. Well, there's a small service that you can do me, if you will. With pleasure. Oh,
Just one more blowjob.
I have photographs of our 3...
I spent the past 5 days in a chair, so I'm going to sit in a chair again.
Now, Mr. Romer, there is one small point that I can't seem to get quite clear.
This
plot.
whole movie.
Of course, it is obvious the suicide of Meisel clearly establishes the identity of the murderer. But we have yet to determine the method that he used. Now, you no doubt have experienced...
That's good shit, Mr. Wong.
...time, as we all have, with vibrations of sound, and use those vibrations to shatter tubes or globes.
Or make dildos.
But Meisel went a step further. He filled the glass globe with your poison gas, then made use of some form of sound that he could control from a safe
What the
distance.
fuck?
So all he had to do was to plant the globe in his victim's
Most
foot.
complicated way to murder somebody ever.
Have you heard of just shooting him?
Mr. Wong, you're very clever, but I don't see how you figured
Look,
out...
Myra, Mr. Wong is tired and I'm tired. We have a...
We gotta end this movie. Yeah.
For the love of God.
Midnight, we'll probably wind up in a lunch wagon.
Well, you know what you were doing when you started running around with a detective.
Oh, you admit it.
What?
But you're a detective. Good night, Mr. Wong. I do hope we meet again sometime.
Good night, Miss Ross. Good night, Wong. That's a fine crack to make in front of Mr. Wong.
Lovebird.
Did he just say that to the camera? Ah, yes, you were able to be a bit more racist.
Asian.
Very nice day.
You like something to eat? Chicken noodle?
No.
Pork chop?
No.
Pork chop chicken noodle? Yes.
Just a cup of tea.
Just a cup of tea.
Ole, yepoy cha.
And remember, folks, casual racism doesn't hurt anybody.
Oh, now we put the Chinese music at the end.
Wang Wong.
Well,
That was
Okay,
Wong.
so my worst fear came true.
what?
It was kind of boring.
It was very... What did we just watch?
If I could describe this movie in one word, unambitious.
What did we just watch? What?
So I think we just watched one of the earliest examples of the lazy cash-in movie.
They made 6 of these. They can't all be like this.
I mean, at least when they do a lazy cash-in movie these days, it has lots of action in it.
Oh my god, that was... I instead of saying they didn't pull any punches, they pulled every punch.
Oh.
They pulled all the punches.
I mean, it couldn't even be hilariously racist.
Can we? Is there any possible way we could actually recap the plot of this fucking movie?
No, because I didn't pay attention.
I paid somewhat of an attention. So there's. Go ahead, Riley.
This guy got poisoned to pretty much take control of a crystal company? I don't know. Chemical company? And Mr. Wong figured it out with one test. And then, like, it just kind of left Mr. Wong alone, and then it was just a bunch of pointless shit.
It's just okay. So, dude with a formula working for some sort of chemical company has a poisonous gas that can kill people really quickly and painlessly. And for whatever reason, he signs a contract that if he dies, it goes to two other dudes. And that was just the smartest fucking move that you could have ever made there as a businessman. So, shocker of shocker, he dies with the poisonous gas. Everyone thinks he gets shot. Some guy that we think is innocent gets put into prison for 5 days of questioning. As this goes on, another dude, like all three businessmen end up dying that were part of this chemical company, as well as some other random guy that they think killed themselves. There's a lot of tuxedo parties, a lot of talking on the phone, and then all the while Mr. Wong is doing weird experiments with sound and glass globes in his apartment because he's the only person that seems to know what's going on because the police are just happy with interrogating and annoying and torturing innocent people.
And yelling at people, which apparently aren't innocent people, even though they showed no signs of actually being the murderer the entire movie.
Yeah, and then, so, people are dying through poisonous gas. Mr. Wong is just breaking and entering into people's houses because he knows what the fuck's going on somehow through multiple experiments that he's performing at home with his Asian slave. I'm sorry, that man was a slave. Jesus Christ. And then, for whatever reason, this all culminates in a guy that looks like Pee Wee Herman being the bad guy with some Russian lady that's pretending to be someone else and some other guy that I can only describe as like a Brooklyn gangster. They all think they're going to die because they meet up with Mr. Wong. He tricks them into thinking he's released the poison. They all like try to run away. He stops them. That somehow manages them to handcuff them. They get arrested, and then he finally interrogates the guy that we think's been innocent the whole time. But it turns out he's not innocent the whole time because it turns out it's his formula, and he made it so the glass breaks when a police siren shatters. So he orchestrated the whole damn thing. And what the fuck?
And he has no motive.
And he has no motive. 6 more. 6 of these. 6. I don't know what I was expecting.
The one thing that okay, if I was to say like what is the best detective series, in my opinion, it's Columbo. Now, what does a good detective series do right? It shows you. You don't have to necessarily know who the murderer is. That's just the shtick that Columbo does, where you know who the murderer is the entire time and you watch Columbo figure it out.
Yeah, but if you watch Sherlock, they don't show they show the murder, but they don't show the murderer for a while.
Yeah. So, but what a good detective series has logical clues that can lead you to conclusions. Like, they show the detective finding stuff out that gives you ideas of who the murderer might be. This just had Mr. Wong finding random facts and jumping to conclusions from them.
Yeah, this wasn't like a Sherlock kind of thing where he deducts it. It's just like, he knows this somehow. He just jumps to a conclusion, and it just seems to be the right conclusion. And there's nobody like, how did you figure this out? It's just like, he just like, this is what happened. And it just happens to be what happened. Like, with at least like with Sherlock Holmes, like, excuse me, it's like, yeah, he's like the world's greatest detective. But like, he likes to, like, he elaborates how he figured this shit out and how he deducted that shit.
And in the case of the Columbo, usually it is like the killer leaves like a single solitary clue behind that makes him figure it out. And he doesn't always have to tell them what it is, but he usually reveals it in some fashion. This didn't reveal how Wong found this out at all.
It was just a very confusing, convoluted movie.
And in addition, it was boring. It really was.
Yeah, it was ridiculously boring. I know back, this is like 1930s fucking style filmmaking. So, for example, like, I love fucking noir films, crime noirs, and that stuff. Like, they are like traditionally slow build, You know, sometimes there's long dialogue scenes, and eventually it builds up to an action scene
Yeah,
of some
but
sort.
at the same time, in noir movies, there's usually like characters you care about, and intrigue.
Yeah,
And
I thought this was going to be like a noir film, like albeit a very racist one. I thought like there was going to be some sort of slow build to
there
maybe some.
really, there really
To,
wasn't much racism in this movie. I mean, besides the fact that a white man is playing a Chinese man, it's
and that he's for some reason got a Chinese slave,
houseboy, yeah.
a houseboy. Um, yeah, I wouldn't say disappointed is the word for this movie, because I don't know what I was expecting, but I was expecting something other than this. What amazing!
I expected to be entertained at least, and I was not entertained.
I was entertained by all the jokes we were making. I was entertained by making fun. That was like a very easy movie to make fun of.
I disagree with you.
I thought we'd just be out of ideas.
I disagree. I think I did probably my worst job riffing I've ever done on that movie, surely because there were long periods of nothing. I think my best riff was about a penis statue, and the other one was about a milkman.
I do love the joke of just like, how am I supposed to know? I'm the milkman.
He's like, call in the doctor. Man all in white with a white cap shows up. Oh, the milkman's arrived.
It's just they managed to make 5 more of these. That's what I don't get. 5 more.
Were people easily entertained in the 30s?
I'm guessing so, because that was...
Like I said, that was the least ambitious thing I've ever seen.
That was a very safe movie.
It's just like, we're pushing no boundaries here.
The biggest boundary they pushed was a white guy playing an Asian man, and that was
Yeah,
about
but he could have just played as a black guy and made this about 5 times more uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, he could. This could have been made a lot more uncomfortable. Like, basically, Boris Karloff is literally just being himself in this movie. He's not going for an Asian accent.
He's just
not
squinting, and he has eyeliner.
He's squinting, he's got eyeliner, he's got round spectacles, and like when we first see him in the movie, he's got one of those like Chinese gowns on. And that's about as racist as this movie gets. Which, to be fair, pretty racist. A white guy doing that. That's the Asian equivalent of a white guy doing
but he didn't
blackface.
affect an accent or anything.
He didn't do an accent. He didn't really play any other stereotypes other than the stuff that we saw really early in the movie that just sort of... I mean, we saw him in a Chinese robe, I think, once in the movie. The rest of the movie, he's wearing a suit.
Tuxedo.
The tuxedo with a flower on it.
He's dressed as a penguin, really.
Yeah, he's like the eyes and the glasses and the eyeliner. That's as offensive as this portrayal gets of an Asian man. And it's offensive. Don't get us wrong, but it's like that could have gone a lot worse. As a palate cleanser, what did we think of this as a palate cleanser? Are we ready for Anthropophagus after this?
Well, I just tell you what. At least I know with Anthropophagus, I won't be bored.
No, we won't be bored with Anthropophagus.
I mean, I know there's stuff that's going to push the boundaries a little bit in Anthropophagus, but...
Yeah, like, it's weird, like I said, like, Absurd was like the easy starter. It's like we're literally going to be diving right in with Anthropophagus.
Which is weird, because Absurd is the sequel to Anthropophagus.
Sequel in that it's...
the script isn't that similar, but it stars, like, the same killer, and it was billed as the sequel to it. Since Anthropophagus is also known as Grim Reaper, and that movie is known as Anthropophagus 2 or Grim Reaper 2.
Yeah. It was a palate cleanser. Definitely. In that it was like, man, I wish I was watching anything but this movie right now.
Are you going to edit it together the same way you did the last episode?
Probably, yeah.
So
I'll do a commentary.
Folks, be glad that you don't have to sit through the entire movie, because it gets long and boring real quick.
It does get long and boring really quick. There's like nothing that I can't show in this movie because it's fucking 1938. and if it is indeed in public domain, then in the separate commentary video that I'll be uploading, then I'll probably just sync it up with the movie. Yeah, that was a. Would we recommend Dr. Wong, Mr. Wong even, detective?
No.
Absolutely not.
No, not a chance. Not a chance. Unless it's
We're going to be watching the sequels.
That's one thing I was going to ask you guys. Would you want to watch the sequels?
I want to see if it gets more interesting.
Not unless, like, if we can check reviews for it, maybe, and it tells us, like, one has car chases or something in it.
Well, that's the thing. This movie got. I mean, it wasn't. It's an average rating, but it got 3 stars.
Yeah, but I would check reviews and everything, like.
What other things came out in 1938?
A lot of good movies came out in the 30s. A lot of B movies came out as well, but that's beside the point. This was. Would you call this a B movie? I don't know if I'd call this a B movie.
I wouldn't say it's an A movie, but
I wouldn't say it's an A movie.
A movie.
Yeah, that was not fun. Yeah, unless the only situation I would ever recommend watching this movie.
I'll
maybe.
Be honest,
yeah.
I'm not sure 1 hour is enough time to actually do a proper detective serial, unless like you cut out a lot of shit.
Yeah, I was like, when I was looking at it and I saw the title, Mr. Wong Detective, I was like, okay, detective story, whatever. And then I saw like an hour and 8 minutes, and I was like, that can't fucking be right.
I mean, well, there have been episodes of Columbo that are like 70 minutes, but
that's a TV series. That's different. This is like a movie, and it's like.
I know, but Columbos in their own right were basically handled as like TV movies.
Mm. Well, I mean, like, you got Sherlock and the American equivalent, Elementary, today, and they're like 45 minutes to an hour.
Actually, they're an hour and a half each.
Oh, an hour and a half each? Oh, wow. Yeah. Fucking hell, I got that wrong.
Without commercials?
Commercials.
Wow.
They're really good. Elementary, by the way, I'll say this to you, America. You managed to do a better Sherlock Holmes series than Britain did. I'll say that much. Fucking hell.
Really? What about
yeah.
The BBC series with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Don't get me wrong, Benedict Cumberbatch? Cumberbatch is doing a really good job, but it's a little, what's the word I'm thinking of? I wouldn't say silly at times. That's the wrong word, silly. There's, I don't know, like, for example, the whole Moriarty thing, like, that's like supposed to be his arch nemesis, is the villain, the Joker to his Batman, if it were, and like the way Moriarty's written, it's not, it's not a character I can take seriously. It's not a character that I can see existing. Like the whole thing with the British Sherlock, it's like those are characters. They're amazing characters. It's like, oh my god, wow, but it's like they're characters that I can't see existing. And that was the problem with Sherlock Holmes in general, really, of the books. It's like he's so fucking amazing. But in Elementary, they make him a drug addict, because that was actually part of the books. He was like he took cocaine and heroin and that to try and think better. But in the Elementary, they put him in New York to make him a drug addict, and like it plays a big, huge part of his character, and it makes him like a bit more human.
I love how we're not talking at all about Mr. Wong anymore.
No, I'm just saying how much better this like Sherlock Holmes is than Mr. Wong. Like maybe we'll watch a Sherlock Holmes movie at some point in the future. But yeah, I'd say the Elementary, like, he's a lot more human in that series. He's a lot more believable as like that person can exist in this world. But yeah, that was Mr. Wong. There's not a lot to say about it. There was a lot of people talking in suits. It's a 1930s movie, to say the least.
Guys in suits talking.
Guys in suits talking. Ali, you predicted this 100% correctly. You said it would be people standing around talking.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it was. Yeah, the only time I'd recommend this movie, absolute, like, would say if you're in a situation like us, you got a bunch of friends over, you're down, you're like, let's watch some schlocky movies, you know. It's like, if you want to sit down with some friends, make fun of it, it's a harmless movie. You know, it didn't make me angry. It didn't make me pissed off. It was just, well, you know, that happened. I could have spent an hour watching something else, but hey, it was a palate cleanser. Next movie we'll be watching will be Anthropophagus. Will be a lot more interesting. I don't know how to prepare you for Anthropophagus, Ali. It's a little bit more gory than absurd, to say the least. I did tell you there was a scene where Anthropophagus eats a fetus. That's sort of the most famous scene in that movie. So look forward to that. And then after Anthropophagus, the palate cleanser for that will be They Live, which is a very good John Carpenter movie. So we'll be having a good movie to look forward to after Anthropophagus. So yay! There is that, at least. So that was Edge of Reality. Rob's gone away for a moment. He's muted, but I'll say bye on behalf of Rob. This is like Rob saying bye. See, I did that so well. Sounded just like him. Sounded just fucking like him. You got anything to say before we go, Ellie?
Why am I here?
You're my guinea pig. These are my experiments, and you're my guinea pig.
You're making me watch a movie where someone eats a fetus.
Yeah. I'll send you cheesy movies, the worst that I can find. And I'm Chris, the mad scientist of this whole podcast, saying, push the button, Frank. There's no Frank to push the button, so I'll do it instead. Ah.